Greetings, this is Chris Ruby, the Nostalgic Catholic, with another Isaac Asimov short story review. And this time we have his very first entry on the pages of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. And it features him here, new Isaac Asimov, A Problem of Numbers. I think the story could also be called As Chemist to Chemist, but at any rate, in its initial appearance here, the story is titled The Problem of Numbers, and in the table of contents it is clarified that the story Problem of Numbers is on page 8, Isaac Asimov, page 88. Okay, so what do we get on page 88? Well, there is no artwork. It's only a couple pages. There's quite a blurb, and it tells here a new puzzle story. This is a huge blurb here. It says, Isaac Asimov needs no introduction to readers of EQMM, Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. At the time of this writing, Mr. Asimov has just celebrated the publication of his 100th book in the fields of science and science fiction, a truly remarkable accomplishment. And he is still going strong, indeed going stronger than ever. For a long time we have considered it a pity that Isaac Asimov's work has not appeared in EQMM, but the simple truth is he never sent us a story. Mr. Asimov has now rectified this oversight, and we are pleased to offer you a new Asimov short written especially for EQMM. It is a pure cipher mystery, and how welcome the rebirth of the code or cipher story has been these past few years, which, while not involving a crime, has a contemporary thinking machine quality. And Mr. Asimov promises, now that he is officially a contributor to EQMM, to put this very special apostrophe tech talents on paper for coming issues. A head note of unusual interest about Isaac Asimov's work. You will recall that in the November 1968 and December 1968 issues of EQMM, we gave you the first two supplements to Queen's Form, a history of the detective crime short story as revealed by the most important books published in the field since 1845, issued in 1969, with both supplements by Biblio and Tannen Booksellers and Publisher, Incorporated, 63 4th Avenue, New York, 10003. Supplement number 2 ended with EQ's nominations to QQ for the year 1967. Queen's Performance QQ. Quite a few readers sent us comments, some disagreeing with new QQ selections and others suggesting omissions in QQ. But the largest number of letters concerned a book published after the last year covered by supplement number 2. Readers reminded us, even warned us, not to omit a certain book of short stories if and when we compiled supplement number 3. That book is Asimov's Mystery, published by Doubleday just after 1967, January 5, 1968. I guess is when it actually appeared on booksellers' shelves. This is the first time that a possible inclusion in Queen's Form has ever been anticipated, has ever been demanded in advance. And now match wits if you care to accept the challenge with Isaac Asimov's Professor Nettering. Well, the story itself isn't much. It's really just little more than a context or a rather simplistic puzzle wherein the professor has a daughter and the student would like to marry the daughter, and even though the daughter's of age and would probably marry him anyway, but she wants everything all nice and kosher and friendly, and the student wants father's blessing. And the father says, tell you what, if you can solve this puzzle, I'll give you my blessing. I want to see your thought processes. Okay, whatever. So he sees the thought processes, he solves the puzzle. There's the story, so they could get married with his blessing, and that's all nice and sweet. Okay, so the only thing left, the only thing of any actual interest in here, aside from this context, is I've revealed the story. I wouldn't consider that spoilers, though. The only thing of real interest is what was the clue. And the Professor Nettery gives him this series of numbers: 69663712633768333047. If you can translate what that says, I will give you my blessing. The only other clue in all of this that I will bring attention to, because without this clue, I don't know that it would ever be even remotely penetrable, is that Nettering is his professor in inorganic chemistry and is trying to set up something that should be reasonably solvable on the spot. Okay, those are the only clues in addition to the actual sequence of numbers themselves. And he figures it out, and how he figures it out, and there it is. And what the message in there is, I won't spoil that. I won't spoil how you figure it out, how you get from that series of numbers to what the message in there is, or how he figures it out. That I will not spoil. So, it's not much of an entry, but it's his first. Now, he will go on to have a great many entries on the pages of Ellery Queen's mystery magazines. Almost all of them are going to be, well, a lot of them are going to be Black Widower stories, and we will also get some Grimwald mysteries, or ones that were collected into Union Club mysteries. I figure this is as good a point as any to announce that these stories are getting many, and tedious. And I'm sure if anybody wants to try to watch this whole series, that would be, tedious beyond belief. The idea by now is you're not going to try to go through this whole series, or certainly not at once. Maybe one or two a day I can see, but if you want to do that that could go for months. But the point is, one or two a day. It gets tedious. When I do get to handling those stories, if I do, I think I just do those as collected in the volume. The same also goes for Azazel stories, but I don't know that many of those showed up on this magazine. And actually, a lot of the Griswold stories show up not on this, some do, but in the pages of Gallery magazine. I already didn't get a Playboy magazine to show the article to which what is this thing called Love or Girls of the Slime God story, was originally where some of that was originally published. Fortunately, Asimov's story made its initial appearance on the pages of Amazing Stories, so that I can show. I just don't want to go there. I'm not going to go there, which means, they've been careful to gather up all the Black Widower stories. If I really want to be exhaustive, I have but to gather all the volumes of Black Widowers. I've missed out some variations between the stories as originally published versus how they are. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. You kind of know they're there. You've got to, if you've been following these, get a feel what kind of differences you would find. I'm just kind of running out of my ability to be willing to do this much further. I still want to continue doing more regular science fiction stories as they come. I've got several more planned and so forth. So I'm not stopping that just yet, but I'm kind of drawing the line. So I'm not doing any Black Widow story, no Griswold Union Club stories, no Azazel stories. And at some point, I know I'm going to just kind of run out of gas and say, I think I've done enough. I mean, I've covered it from the earliest period that we've got through the death period of almost no stories at all, into the story where they're starting to come back a little bit more, and he's starting to diversify a bit more to where his stories are. And I got some more of this diversification I do want to get to. So I do plan to cover some more stuff. But I'm now getting to the point where I am drawing a line here. So there may be other. I think there's at least one more story on the pages of Ellery Queen that I hope to cover individually as a story. but I'm not going to be doing all those installments of these Black Widowers and so forth. So, just thought I'd announce that for future reference. Well, at any rate, but he's on there, and that's neat. And this is his first story. It's not a Black Widower story, and that's fine. He got on the pages of it. That's great. And now you know what to expect from the story.